Hello, 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 and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and so are you. The name of my channel is Manifesting Magic with Dr. J, and of course, I'm Dr. J. I am not a psychologist, by the way, or a psychiatrist, which someone apparently mistook me for in one of these platforms, because I wouldn't for the life of me ever want to be in charge of whether or not people had good mental health. That's not my job on this earth, right? So just know it's because I'm a sociologist. Nonetheless, what I want to talk about today is gratitude, right? So this is one of my favorite books of all time. I've been having this one right here forever. I mean, literally the pages are like coming out. It's fine. I don't even care. I've literally highlighted it and underlined and wrote things and drew little pictures, like reading it over and over again. And it's The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, right? A book that was written in the 1920s. Bob Proctor brought it back out more recently, I think in the 80s or something like that. He did a foreword for the book and republished it, if I'm not mistaken, 1996. So this is one of my favorite books. So I think it's probably my favorite. It's only like 3 or 4. It's like The Science of Getting Rich, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. The other one is by James Avery, the As a Man Thinketh. Those are like 3 top books. And then from there, it'll probably be something by Chimamanda Adichie Ngozi, the Nigerian writer. Maybe Half of the Yellow Sun. I like that one. So yeah, this is one of my favorite books. In this book, chapter 7 discusses gratitude. And I think it's so interesting because, man, you cannot manifest anything in your life that you want to have with an ungrateful mind. It just doesn't work that way. Like anything that you truly desire, and it's something that you feel like you deserve, and it's a positive, beautiful, peaceful thing that you're like, I'm working on this new career that I want, this new idea that I have. I want to get it out to the world, this new type of social media platform that I'm creating, whatever that idea is. If you are approaching that idea with an ungrateful mind and heart and spirit, and just an ungrateful approach in general, it's not going to be a very pleasant experience. And 9 times out of 10, when you finally get the thing, it won't be exactly what you're wanting because you're not creating it from a space of the best, the space of love, the space of gratitude, right? One of the things that this book heavily lays into, like I love to talk about, is the whole process of mental adjustment, right? Because really that's all it is that separates us from being one level then going to another level, right? I think a lot of times in the transitions from one level to another level can create this space sometimes where we don't know if we're doing life the right way. We might feel like that, like, am I doing this the right way? If you feel that way, am I doing this? Am I going to get the results that I want to get, right? So I think there can be periods of time where you lose sight of what you should be grateful for in life. But I think if you approach everything in all your levels in life with seeing it as the best outcomes, looking for the best people, having the best attitude, and being grateful for everything that you are and everywhere that you've been and how that's a part of your story, I think you can't create what you truly want unless you get into that mindset. Another thing that I highlighted in here was without gratitude, you cannot keep from being dissatisfied with things as they are. Man, it's like ingratitude is like a big rush of water. And like your gratitude practices are like a dam holding back the flood of negative perspectives on everything happening in your life. Because there's so many places where you can have this confirmed, right? So if you think your marriage is negative, you can easily find a whole bunch of 15 blogs online searching a specific phrase that will confirm to you what you want to hear, that you're in a bad marriage, right? Am I in a good marriage? You wouldn't be looking for that if you are in a negative marriage and you want to see specific results, right? So without gratitude, you cannot keep from being dissatisfied with things as they are. So it's like if you're not actively participating in the practices of making sure that you stay in a grateful place for everything that's in your life, it can easily slip into the other side. It's so quickly, right? I was telling someone the other day, I can easily see how people rationalize themselves out of good relationships, and whether those are friendships, connections, or whatever, because there's a strong piece of the human mindset that wants to be right way more than it wants what we call a truth, right? So we think, well, don't people want the truth? Don't they want truth, right? Well, a truth is different for everyone, depending on how you see it, right? But people way more so want to be correct about the way they see the world, as opposed to incorrect and then have to do a mental adjustment. So this mental adjustment is a very important aspect of creating a life that you choose, because it's just a shift, right? So when you are dissatisfied with things as they are, it's kind of hard to create what it is you want, because your attention is only focused so deeply on what it is you don't want, what it is you don't like, right? So if you can think about an area in your life where you may be falling prey to this type of mindset, this type of thinking. I know I can think of one really specific place where I am definitely applying the whole seeing the glass half empty mindset, and then I'm getting more of the half empty constantly. But it's like, how do you feel better about something that you dislike to a high degree? And I think that's where a lot of people have trouble when it comes to their gratitude, because on the one hand, they don't want to turn a blind eye to something that's a real issue or something that they really don't like or don't want. But on the other hand, they don't want to show ingratitude. Well, I'm here to say that you can be equally dissatisfied and grateful for a circumstance at the same time. Because I am equally dissatisfied and grateful for several things in my life. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think the idea that you have to see that situation as either black or white stops people from really just saying, hey, I'm grateful, right? I'm grateful. Bottom line, I'm grateful. But at the end of the day, I don't want this in my life, that in my life, and that in my life. I'm going to figure out a way to work that out. But see, even just saying to yourself that I'm grateful for it gives you a clearer mind, gives you a bird's eye view with the situation, to where you can more clearly articulate what it is you don't want, what it is you do want, and how you're going to get yourself out of where you're at, right? When you're all caught up in the minutia of it and you're all angry about it or bothered about it, or you having a lot of ingratitude towards whatever situation it is, you have a hard time seeing your way out. Because the reason why you're so aggravated is because it doesn't feel like there's a way out. Like right now, you want instant relief. And even if there's not instant relief, you can get some maybe next week relief, maybe in 2 weeks, maybe in 3 weeks. But in order to see that, you have to start seeing overall, I'm grateful, right? Another thing that I enjoy about this chapter in the book is it is necessary to cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you, to give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. So that's a hard one for a lot of people, because they say, well, how can I be grateful for being abused when I was a kid? How can I be grateful for having a husband that cheated on me? How can I be grateful for having children that are drug addicted? Whatever it is that you're going through, somebody's been through it, definitely. But how can I be grateful for those things? In order for you to truly, and nobody's saying, I don't think the message is be grateful for those awful situations because it could have been worse. That's kind of the wrong message. I think the message is that if you specifically want to see a life that you're choosing to manifest and create the things that you are wanting to create in your life, and the connections and the energies and the attitudes, and you have a really specific way that you see your life, and that's not the case, you will never get anywhere by being ungrateful for all that you've come from. And it's not personal. It's just the way the universe works, right? Like, you can't walk around the world with a big chip on your shoulder about anything related to who you are and expect to receive positive reinforcements or positive feedback from the environment around you. It's like you have to decide, you know what's more important, me creating and manifesting the life I choose, or me hanging on to something that's like an old hurt or an old negative feeling or some old negative energy? Which one is more important? And that's what it boils down to. So the feeling of gratitude becomes way more important than the feeling of dissatisfaction, because dissatisfaction gets us more dissatisfaction. Gratitude gets us more things that we can feel grateful about. And I think I think three of the biggest holdups for people when it comes to them feeling grateful for everything is one, the thing with the not feeling something was so negative. How can I be grateful for that, right? If I'm going to be happy with who I am today, well, that is a part of me. I have to accept it, right? So that's one of them. Another thing is being grateful when things are coming from places or people that they don't like or they have not resolved issues with. Because I always say it's not that you don't like people, you just have unresolved issues. And whether you'll ever resolve them, who knows? But most people, they don't really dislike the person. They dislike something a person did. And it's usually related to some unresolved issue within themselves, even though the person who's doing the offense looks like the predator, right? So just keep that in mind. Another thing is also, too, when the gratitude has to be given to somebody that you would not want to give the gratitude to. And then another time is when you're not seeing any real results. So it's the time frame. A lot of times the time is so long in our human mindsets about how things should be timed and the scope that we have, that we get caught up in, I'm not getting results today. So that means that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not, the gratitude isn't working. And I can always just tell you, there's no way that if you have things that aren't working in your life or areas that need to be cleaned up or areas that where you want to improve, which mostly everybody does for the most part, I feel like I've not ran into a person that wasn't trying to improve or better themselves in some way. If you have, if that is how you see your life, then having gratitude is always going to be an ongoing process in order to continue to create it. Like, there's no way to get around the idea that I have to feel good about where I am in order to achieve the next level of where I want to go, if I want to do it in an authentic fashion. Because I think you can accomplish a lot of these things with force without being authentic and with using the tangible efforts you have to put things in place. But I think you can only get so far like that. I think that if you use tangible efforts to put a specific type of life in place, then you're always going to have to use those tangible efforts to create it. So my biggest goal in life has always been, what can I create without putting the least amount of effort and get the biggest results? And so while that might sound like to some people something for nothing, that's not exactly what it is. The least amount of effort and get the biggest results. So for me, the least effort is saying thank you every day. It's being in gratitude and feeling good and remaining in that peaceful space. That's least effort. For me, a lot of effort to create something in my life would be going pound the pavement for it and making it happen, right? So for me, when I say least effort, it's like, what space do I need to be in to be the most fertile? So now you have plants, you sit some in the window, you barely even have to water them. And then you have one that's sitting in your bedroom, you're always watching it because it sways toward wherever the light is showing. And it always looks like it's kind of shaky. Whereas you know that you're having it in there for a selfish reason. It's not in the most fertile place that it can be. So that plant won't ever thrive the way that it can because it's putting in way too much effort to try to just accomplish something that's easily happening for these who are just sitting in front of the window. So that's what I mean. So see gratitude as your opportunity to nurture yourself and sit in front of the window. It's the necessary part of growth and especially expansion for the most part, right? So anyway, this is a great book. I know I might have been all over the place today, but I don't know. I just feel like I had something to say and I wanted to share. So make gratitude a part of your daily practice in order to create that life you choose, because you can't get around having to feel good to bring those things to you with the least amount of effort and in the exact way that you want to see them play out, or even better, right? Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. And until next time.